Our next performer, artist, creative human being, is a visual artist living in Portland. He does not have a favorite color. He's a portrait sketcher at festivals, or you can find him watching birds at Evergreen Cemetery. He's an admirer of history. He's from the Finger Lakes of New York State. He's a blown fresco muralist, an educator, and a campfire cowboy. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Tacka.
Hi, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Hold on. I got it. All right. The following Tacka will include video clips with sounds and songs and scenes. The videos and JPEGs were all captured with a handheld 6.0 Nikon Coolpix, forever set at 800 ISO. The clips with rolling titles and songs were created for earlier produced films. All the original artwork, voices, and music is me. Many of the fountains I made had definite themes. This one, a French 220th anniversary. But in general,
220th anniversary.
I experimented,
Revolution.
had fun, and entertained
Yes,
myself.
first time I used
with
colored water
fountains.
in a fountain.
This is the first Friday Garden Gallery fountain, October 2008. After this one, basically there was a fountain once a month until June 2012, turning out to be a series of 41 fountains. This one is called Watercolor Fountain. It included the only piece of stone that was used in the whole series. The second First Friday fountain was inspired by and called the Fontana, the stretched canvas with a single slash. Does anybody get that? Well, anyway, most everyone saw something else. I used painted canvas a number of other times in various ways. Having worked professionally designing stage sets and productions, fountains became theater for me, with the water as staged actors, here dancing on a flamboyant, prosceniumed stage entering from left and right wings, taking center stage. I found myself backstage again, with lights in my eyes, behind a curtain of water. Backstage, you could see the workings of the fountain, the water lines, the power cords, the plumbing. Next, you will hear two songs that inspired two of my fountains. Why do we ask? The cat-capped fountain.
Who let that kitty?
The cats are Chance and Chomsky, our gray
I
tabbies
said,
at home.
Who let that kitty?
There is even a
out
song
of
for the
bag?
cardinal and
I
butterfly.
said, who?
And of course, there had to be a fountain for the character and theme song for The Legend of the Black Toad. He's the protector of nature and the defender of the helpless. The icicles show he was watching over everyone on a cold night.
The bridge fountain.
I also made two songs for fountain videos. This song scored the video titled More Fountains from Kevin Tacka's Garden Gallery, number 11 through 21. I think this is 12. You had to walk underneath this fountain to enter the garden.
Here's another one.
All of the 41 fountains were electric recycling fountains. I considered a fountain design a success if it didn't lose much or any of its water after running for 3 hours. Often after the first Friday night was over, I didn't want to turn off the power to the fountain, but it always happened. When creating each fountain, I considered design, color, scale, movement, containment, release, capture, physical balance, power, and materials, including, of course, the water. In this, the mountain fountain, I used aluminum flashing. Aluminum flashing was used in about 6 different fountains. All of the Garden Gallery fountains were made on a budget, often with found materials. Other fountains in general are usually, to quote, huge and long-lasting. My fountains were small events, pumping and flowing for one night only, but year-round, throughout the changing seasons, and always next to some of my artwork. Here's an example of a springtime fountain. I was glad for good weather, especially on any first Friday with calm winds. This fountain, without the weight of the water, would have just blown away. There are no attachments, they're just on top of each other. A summer fountain? Yeah, I used everything including the kitchen sink. Perhaps turning everyone's household utilitarian fountain into something decorative, or at least artistic. So you just let the water run. This fall fountain was inspired by a newly finished painting commission. I often used fabrics. Fabrics caught the water and allowed water to pass through, keeping the splash to a minimum. The spotlights cast winter shadows on the snow. About 5 of the fountains used snow in the design and construction. Deep winter nights were usually cold, dry, and calm. I could expect to lay drawings directly out on the snow, and the drawings would still be dry by night's end. About half of the fountains used 2 pumps, controlling water pressure and volume with different sized tubes, nozzles, and apertures. Then fine-tuning the water flow with the power control that was installed on each pump.
Check it out.
This fountain reminds me of battling tanks. Dripping water from these mounted hi-hat drum cymbals first flows up from, then back to the source. Always, after using the water as a working material, I would simply pour the water out onto the ground. Some fountains just seem to become only movement and light. Many of the most moving and intense moments in my life have occurred in the water, and one reason I enjoyed making the fountains was to recall the memory of those moments. I look at fountains differently now, for example. I can describe this as a single line, inverted cone, crowned with glass and flame, its water flow descending into a pre-basin of draped canvas. Or I could simply say, hey, that's kind of cool. And that was 19 of the 41 First Friday fountains. Thank you for your attention.